and all these half-baked politics, so, you know, I don't really care. Whatever.
So I'm over at a friend's house real quick, and I want to make this video about this really interesting conversation I had with this Portland woman. I would say that she was probably at least 40 years old, and she had a certain amount of wisdom living in Portland most of her life. I was talking with my friend who's helping me redo my website, and we were having lunch at the Gold Bowl over off of 35th and Powell. And we're talking about my situation, looking for office space, and it's good to have a friend to talk to about some of these things over a meal and brainstorm solutions, especially when they understand and they care and they're providing good feedback and suggestions. So, you know, I'm looking to kind of remedy my situation, launch this daily radio show, and hopefully get some office space. We're talking about the major changes we've seen in the architecture of inner southeast Portland, and actually all throughout Portland. It's not just the micro apartment issue. She heard what we were saying, and she felt a very strong need to connect with us in a way that strangers normally don't. You know, especially when they're in Portland and they don't know each other. And she heard what we were saying and really wanted to share her feelings, and really, you know, she was on the verge of tears, talking about, you know, this new Portland class, the policies within the government locally that are allowing this, we can call a real estate mafia, to alter the face of Portland. And, you know, years ago they started designating certain areas as historic areas. So, you know, really well-made buildings would remain in the years ahead, because a big part of Portland, you look at pictures of Portland, it's the buildings. That's a big part of what makes the city unique. And in the old world, if you will, before things got so globalized, I noticed that when I was younger. That's the beauty of different cities. It's the unique architecture, not just their downtown, but the way that, you know, the homes were built back in the day. So these beautiful homes that were built 100 years ago, a lot of them, are being completely demolished to make way for these smaller homes that are taller, and they're not so much made out of wood, they're made out of cement. So this urban look, this grid look, is being imported in by these architects that aren't even Portlanders. And with their close relationship with the city of Portland, it's changing the landscape of Portland forever. In the next edition of Outside the Box, by the way, I'm going to talk about some new information. There's massive Chinese investment coming to Portland, and they're investing heavily in the South Waterfront District. So I've been talking for years about foreign investment, China, the growing relationship that we'll see between the United States and China, but specifically the city of Portland and China. And this is a prime example. But back to the story. You know, it really warmed my heart to see someone break outside the box and start sharing their truth, and to take a chance in a world where a lot of people aren't even communicating anymore. And I've gotten some feedback. I've talked to a couple Portlanders that have seen this type of attitude growing in Portland, where people don't want to look each other in the eye, but most of all, like are uncomfortable with conversation, small talk. There's a lot of people that have their guard up. So this woman asked me how long I lived here, how long I've been in Portland, and I told her I was born here, and there's a reason why I moved away in 2011. But for some reason, I felt like coming back in 2014. Been here about a year now since I've returned. And you guys have heard me bitch, whine, cry in some cases, but I'm here to tell you, wow, the whole city's feeling it. And my heart goes out to those people that have lived here most of their lives, that are seeing this transition. But this is the way the world's going. You know, Portland is, yes, far more livable than Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, New York City, Miami, in so many ways. I would not recommend anyone leave Portland who's on the skids to go to some of these other major dense population centers, because it's far worse. That's why so many people, homeless and non-homeless, people with money, have-nots and haves, are all coming together to Portland. We really weren't connecting on other issues. For her, it was really about the architecture. For me, it's really about, well, why are so many people homeless? And what is the city really trying to do to improve the problem, the situation? And some people might need a leg up in terms of government assistance, but there's a great deal of people out there that wouldn't be doing drugs, and wouldn't be, for those that are, intoxicating themselves, and they had something positive to do, somewhere to go, somewhere to shower. So to me, it's like a humanitarian issue. You know, a lot of these people are believed to be mentally ill or completely broken, and I don't think so. I know what it's like to be in their shoes. And I think people need to remember that there are people out there that are suffering that aren't necessarily so far gone that they can't be brought back to reality or brought back to society. People should be able to talk in today's society, and I'm seeing a major gap between the younger female generation and older female generation. It seems like most of the really awake women, and I'm not really going to be offending anyone on my Facebook page or YouTube channel because I can't think of any of you that are under 30 years old. And most of the empathetic responses and comments are by women at least in their 30s, but more so above 35 and more so above 40. And usually, very rarely, under 30. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We can discuss that perhaps in another video. But I am noticing this pattern. And the face of Portland is changing. And for this person to be able to just to talk about it, you know, and not be a part of the cult mindset of everything being beautiful and everything being great, you know, and everything being about materialism, she really seemed to get it. And so it's definitely good when people are able to connect. I just want to share that story because it's so rare when people just break outside the box and on the verge of tears just share from the heart because they feel that they can take a chance with this person. And she took a chance with me that she could be able to connect. And she didn't even eat her Chinese food. It just sat there for 20 minutes because she really needed that conversation. And it was great to have that conversation.